Get it.
The short irons is a part of the game that I'm sort of in love with, because I feel like when I look back over my career, if you picked a part of my game that I thought I was the best in the world at, I'd have to say 8-9 and a wedge. I play anybody, anytime, anywhere. And I think one of the reasons why the short irons are really good for me is I used to have an extremely weak left hand and right hand grip, and I also used to, I still set the club quite early, and the people that set the club early on the short irons usually are the best short iron players. It's very difficult to hit a short iron when you take it back low and no wrist. It just doesn't work. Nicklaus, even in the last 10 years working with Phil Rogers, started setting the short irons earlier, and now he's a much better short iron player he was than when he was in his prime. And so I sort of recommend a little earlier set than anything else with the short irons. Of course, you know, your driver, you're off your left heel here, and then we talked about moving the club back in your stance 4 or 5 inches to right on the left side of your face. So on your wedges, you're playing the ball just about almost underneath your left eye. And of course, you're going to bend over it more than any other shot. But what I try to do on my wedges that's a little unique, I think, is that I get in, I don't stand just nice and straight here. I actually get in very similar to an impact position at address. And you'll notice I'm in, my foot's even rolled in a little bit this way, and I sort of lock in almost like when you look at Top Gun and you watch those guys and they get those sights right on the target, and all of a sudden it goes beep, 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 and you just press the button, you got them. And that's what I try to do, is I set that thing in there, and when I get in there and I get it locked in, almost like the lock in, I get that locked in and I know I'm ready now, and now without moving anything, boom, I just hit right down on it and hit that ball, and I can just, boom, I can hit a dead flush that way. I don't move off the ball, I don't do anything like that, and that way I feel like I don't need a lot of body action. And the big thing that I try to do is feel the distance. A lot of people don't realize it. There's a lot more to golf than shaping the shots, having a pretty swing, and hitting it where on the line you want. You got to get the right distance. And I could sit here, and so could Tom Kite or any of the good short iron players, and say, okay, here's 97 yards. That's about 97 yards. And I could say, well, here's 101 yards if you'd like it. This one here is that's about 101 yards. And I could go right through the bag and just start hitting these wedges usually within a yard, yard and a half of whatever I dial in. And that's what a lot of practice does for you. You've got to go out there and make a good direct blow. And probably the most important way to get your yardages dialed in is be real consistent with the shaft angle. See the shaft angle I have? I establish a little more shaft angle. Every shot I hit, my left hand is centered right in this area here. On my driver, the shaft is straight because my hand's here. As I move the club back 4 inches from my wedge to get it underneath my left eye, the handle is still in the same spot. So the driver's here, long iron's about in there, mid iron's about right in here, and the wedges are back in the stance somewhere here. But I never change my orientation to where that left hand likes to hang, which is right there. So that's my return point on every shot. So what I want to do is when I hit those wedges, when I come here, the big thing is at impact, I want to make sure that I'm exactly that same angle so that I'm not making the club stronger or I'm not weakening up. And that's what I see among amateurs so much, is you come in, sway off it a little, and then hit your wedges with your hand this way, and watch what it does to that loft. You sway off and then hit from here, and you make your wedge into a lob wedge, make this big old swing, and it goes nowhere. It's because you're adding loft. You don't want to do that. If you want to hit the ball on the green, one bounce, back up, you almost want to, if anything, take loft off the club, if anything, like Trevino, and trap it by moving your hand down that way, palming it down big time. Because the perfect wedge shot, believe it or not, is low with maybe a foot of draw or 2 feet of draw, and boy, it just sticks to those grooves, takes one hop and dances all over the place. So work on that. Back in your stance, trap it down, keep that handle ahead, and just stick it on the face. And boy, if you do that, those wedge shots are a lot of fun to hit, to see that thing dancing around the hole, and you got a chance of getting it coming and going.